Also joining us live now is the historian and senior lecturer at Sydney University, Dr Cindy McCreery. Doctor, good to see you. Thanks for your time this morning. So we've dived into a fair bit of history ourselves today because there's so much of it around, as you know, in London and particularly Westminster Hall. 70 years ago, King George VI had his, well, he was lying in state there as well, just as his daughter is today, and just nice touches of history that have kind of littered throughout this whole, well, ever since the Queen passed away and leading up to her funeral on Monday.
Absolutely, Peter, and good morning to you both. And I think what we're going to see, what we've already seen, of course, is a very careful nod to history in the way that the Queen's memorial, both the procession that we've seen from Buckingham Palace to Westminster Hall, and then on Monday, that further procession, the much shorter journey that she will take from Westminster Hall to Westminster Abbey, it's deliberately linking people's memories with the funeral of her father, George VI, but other British monarchs. And these are places that are very important for British historians, but for the British people and for subjects of the British monarchy, because these are places that are linked not just to the monarchy, but also to Parliament. Westminster Hall is actually the oldest part of the Westminster Parliament buildings.
Yeah, it certainly is. 1,000 years old. I think it was 1097 that it was built. So we're talking about 1,000 years old in the 11th century. What a fascinating time for you, Cindy, to be focusing your major research this moment at the moment on monarchy, the monarchy and colonialism. So how do you view what's happening here this week, Queen Elizabeth's reign, and how that shaped what you're studying?
Yeah, thanks, Laura. Look, this is a really fascinating time. I think one of the things, listening to the coverage and listening to the voices of people in the UK, is that, of course, they see the Queen as a British monarch, which, of course, she was, and Charles is now. But, of course, we know that the Queen was Queen of Australia, Charles is King of Australia. And, of course, the British monarch is also head of state of 14 Commonwealth realms. In addition to that, Charles is now the new head of the Commonwealth, which comprises 56 states, most of which are republics. But in other words, the British monarch actually has influence well beyond the shores of the United Kingdom. And I think that we'll see references to the Commonwealth realms and to the Commonwealth in the funeral. But more importantly, I think when we later see Charles's coronation, that will be a time for acknowledging his relationship with those realms and with the wider Commonwealth.
Mm-hmm.
What have you taken out of the speeches that King Charles has made so far?
So those speeches are really interesting, and again, they're very cleverly and thoughtfully put together and clearly referencing his mother. Of course, he wants to make a really seamless transition between her reign and his, but also referencing, I think, the longer tradition of British royals making global broadcasts. We need to remember, those of you who've seen the film, The King's Speech, the way that her father, George VI, overcame his speaking difficulties to be an effective speaker. It was so important for British royals from the middle of the 20th century to be able to speak on the radio, not just to people in the United Kingdom, but to places like Australia, particularly in World War II. So I think that tradition of speaking is about a global audience for the British monarch, not just a British one.
Yeah, and Queen Elizabeth gave some great speeches in her time, most recently during COVID, where she evoked Vera Lynn, World War II, we will meet again. She always seemed to hit those right notes. What we have seen as well, and we've discussed in the last couple of days, is the tours of the Commonwealth, so many tours to Australia, other Commonwealth nations. When you are in the moment, you see them, they don't seem like big, substantial travel itineraries. There is a lot of meeting and greeting, but in terms of the soft diplomacy of it, it's so powerful and so effective, isn't it, Cindy?
Absolutely. And I think in the post-Brexit Britain, the British government in particular was very aware of the soft power diplomacy, as you put it, Laura, of the British royal family.
That's a really good point.
And indeed, that was a really important asset for them. For post-Brexit Britain. It'll be interesting to see Charles, but also, of course, the new Prince and Princess of Wales, and the role that they, I think, will be called upon to play diplomatically, internationally, on behalf not just of the monarchy, but on behalf of Britain.
Yeah, if we can bring up those pictures again of the gun carriage, this is a bit of a diversion from what we're talking about, but a few other nods to history here. That gun carriage today is the same carriage that carried King Charles VI coffin 70 years ago. Same carriage that carried the coffin of the Queen Mother as well. And on the casket is the imperial crown. It is... it's not the same crown that she had on her coronation, but it's the one that she wore on the balcony after her coronation as well. So...
a lot of diamonds and pearls and emeralds.
It's so beautiful. It's particularly, it's fortunate that it was a really nice day today because you got the speckled light
Sparkling.
that emerges from, Doctor, we'll leave it there, but appreciate your time this morning. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.